Welcome to Prove It. I'm Megan O'Connor.
And I'm Mary Cummings.
This is the podcast for people who know that they were meant for more, but just don't know how to achieve it.
Every week, we bring you real conversations, proven strategies, and that kick in the ass you didn't know you needed to become the person you really want to be.
So I was out showing houses the other day, like we often do.
Like we do as realtors.
And I showed a house that they liked. And it opened up the conversation about price.
Right.
And they were saying, well, I don't want to pay over asking price.
Why?
And it was like, well, how do you know what the value is? Like, how do you know how they positioned
the Zestimate?
Like, I was like, I don't even know this yet.
Right.
Like, I always say the market always changes day to day depending on what is closed. So it's like, if you're saying you don't want to pay over, I'm going to say just $800,000.
Right.
If you don't want to pay over $800,000 for this house, it's just like, well, do you know what the market value is?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how this agent positioned this house because it's been on the market for a day?
Yeah, I think it's important for buyers to realize that list price does not determine value, because listing agents market homes lower than the value in order to create a multiple offer situation. We see it all the time. It's a great strategy. I mean, you want to drive traffic to your listing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strategy that I'm not seeing as much as our times have changed. You know, we definitely used that a year plus ago, like when the market was crazy, and it is definitely a strategy that can be used, I would say, more effectively in different price points. But the overall conversation that I was just like, well, what are your numbers? You know what I mean? It's just like, typically people-based conversations, and I guess it depends on certain price points too, based on monthly payments, right?
Yeah.
And what are you looking to spend, and what is the value to this house, and what is the market value? And it's just like, these people really like the house. So what they said and the conversation wasn't matching. I don't want to pay more than this, but I really want this house. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense to me, because you're saying one thing, and like, I don't know until I bring up the comps of what this house is really worth.
Right.
So how do you know this information?
No.
And so we really just opened up the conversation to be like, this end number is one piece of the conversation. It's not the whole picture of it.
Right. I mean, I don't know if the strategy is homes being priced lower than market value, or there is just so much competition still out there. I mean, we're definitely still in a little bit of a seller's market in upstate New York. We are in a little bit of a bubble. I know it's not the same as the rest of the country, but I am still seeing these homes that I'm making offers on go for 30, 40, 50K over asking price. So it's like, if you have a buyer that comes in and says, well, I don't want to pay more than the list price, the reality of it is you might just not get the home.
Yeah. It's just like really educating buyers and, you know, really from the beginning, and setting those expectations and really understanding, hey, listen, if you're looking in this price point and bringing up the last 6 months, okay,
right.
Well, in this price point over the last 6 months, the list price started here, and this is what these houses closed at, and this is the average and the percentage, and going through those houses. And, you know, everything is education, and being like, okay, like, I want you to be successful, and in order for you to be successful, I need to help you from the beginning. Because if you walk into the first house you see and you love it, and you're like, wait, this is the first house I see, I'm like, but this could be the house.
Right.
And as long as you have the information from the beginning, when you walk into the first house, you should be positioned to confidently make an offer on the house. So it's all...
Yeah, it comes down to perspective. I mean, I have definitely had buyers that saw 3 houses, loved the third house that they saw, but didn't decide to make an offer on it because they felt like they hadn't seen enough houses. And you have that conversation of, it doesn't matter how many houses you see. We laid out your criteria. We laid out the price that you want to be in. And if this house checks all the boxes, you might not need to see 20 houses.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's those houses, and it's the loss. It's the loss that people have to go through in order to have that move on to the next, right?
And that perspective shift.
And that shift and being like, okay, like I learned, or we went through the motions, and you know, sometimes people have to learn the hard way. Yeah. And that's okay. And I get that. And I can be one of those people in different areas of my life too, where it's just like I have to go through those motions, and that's life.
It is. Yeah, and I kind of want to go back to what you were talking about before. So you go into these conversations, the initial conversation that you have with a buyer, you go into that conversation knowing what the market is in their price point and being educated. And if the market is saying homes are going X% over asking price, I bring that to the table in the first conversation. And I say, hey, if your budget is X, we're going to have to look at homes below that price point because you need to be prepared to make a competitive offer. And sometimes that's not asking price. Sometimes that's over asking price. And sure, there are other aspects of an offer that make it stronger. Timing, it depends what's important to the seller. But setting that expectation from day one helps, I would say, in the long run. But it doesn't always change the buyer's perspective. Like you said, sometimes they do have to go through this season of loss before they realize, oh crap, asking price might not be what's going to get me the house that I really love.
Yeah. So I feel like going back to like a listing price, right? We started at $800,000, and it's just like, I call it like, that's just one number.
It's
right?
just a number.
A lot of what we break that down to, and obviously what most people do, is what's that monthly payment? What's the monthly payment? What's the taxes? What's the insurance? Because that's really that's what matters the most, not that bigger $800,000 number. And when people don't know that number, it's just kind of like, well, does it really matter? And how much is each $10,000 increment? How much is that going to affect?
$60.
Yeah, like how much is that going to affect your life? And if you go, $20,000 over, and that's obviously like a mortgage broker question that I always ask people in this event. If you decide to go higher, ask them how much it's going to be every $10,000 increment. That way, your monthly payment is going to be X amount over. So it's having that difference of. And I always say, like, think bigger. Yeah. Like if you're in a position where you're saying to me, I love this house, but I'm not paying over this. It's like those two conversations don't mean the same. Like
they don't align.
And it's really just talking through, okay, well, this doesn't make sense about this. Let's talk more about it. Because I can't, it's not realistic to get both.
It's not realistic. And it comes down to, that is your feeling. You are basing decisions based on emotions and feelings. And we're not here to say people don't make decisions based on emotions. They do. It is one of the largest decision drivers that you can make. But what it comes down to is, what are the facts and what are your feelings? And like you said, think bigger. How are you going to feel if you don't have this house? Because making that decision right off the bat without knowing the facts, like you said, did you even talk to your lender?
Yeah.
Do you even know what the monthly payment is? Do you even know what the monthly payment of $50K plus on a house is? It's $300 a month.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
In this house that I'm actually like talking about, like the taxes on this specific one was like $3,000. It's just like, so it's like
low.
It's like work your numbers in a way that it can make sense.
It can.
But until you know what your numbers are, don't be so like, well, I'm not paying this.
Yeah, don't be
I'm
so
not.
quick.
I'm like,
why?
let's talk about it a little bit. Like,
Right.
let's talk about numbers, because you're saying you want something, and I really want to get this house for you. I want to get this house for you because you're telling me that this could be the forever home, and this is where your kids are gonna, like, you want this elementary school, and this is where your kids are gonna, play in the playground in the backyard, whatever it may be. Like, let's do it.
Right.
But like, let's work through here. Like, let's work through these objections that you're having, and whether it's price. I'm like, if this $30,000 discrepancy that we're talking about, that we feel like, based on the information that I'm getting, is you're going to need to get the house, like, on closing day, and you're sitting in the backyard, with your significant other, and you're in your Adirondack chair celebrating however you want to celebrate. Are you thinking about 30 grand?
You're not.
You're not.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And there's definitely a scenario where you can overpay for a house, but that is what we are here for. If the comps don't support the number, I'm not going to tell you to pay $100K over asking price if the value in the home is not actually there. But when
that's your choice.
Yeah,
that's not my choice. That's your choice.
Absolutely.
I've had people overpay where I can't get value to a house. That's your choice. And they're like, you know what? I'm okay paying this number because my family's going to live here for how many years?
Right.
And that's
in 50 or in 30
some people
years.
may do that, and some people may be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's insane. Yeah. But like, those are just like, I can just show you the stats and the data, and then you can do whatever you want to do with that information.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. It's like, as long as you have these facts of what is the home worth based on the current market and the competition, and what is your monthly payment going to be, and lastly, how badly do you want the fucking house?
It's just like, if you want it that bad, then like, fight for it. So when I call you and I said, hey, John Smith, you didn't get this house, you can react and say, I went down fighting for it, and like, I gave it my all, and that's all I can do, instead of saying, or I should have done this, or I could have done this, or I could have done it differently, and you thought you were getting a better deal. Those are the wrong emotions to feel.
Right.
Like, you should have been, and like, when you say I'm fighting, like, I feel like the people that really just try and get the better deal are the people that lose the negotiation.
Yeah.
And don't get it. And it's just like, man, I told you.
I know. And oftentimes it's like a small number that you're losing it by, and it's because you're being stubborn.
It's just a different shift. But you know what? Every house isn't made to be won either.
Right.
So, obviously, like, case by case scenario, but I think overall we're just being like, if we can, like, think bigger.
Yeah, think bigger, and stop asking the question, what if I overpay for this? Start asking yourself the question, how am I going to feel if I lose this opportunity? Decide your walkaway number before the emotions show up of a multiple offer situation and tensions are high. What is the max price that you really want to pay for this house? And like you said, if you get that call and say, oh, I didn't get the house, your response better not be, well, I would have paid more. That's just don't do it. Decide your highest number and be happy with it. So I think the overall idea is, if this is something that you're struggling with, your perspective shift, whether it's in real estate and you feel like you're not able to come to a decision on something because you have your mindset on one number, or if it's something in your personal life that you feel like needs shifting, I would take out a piece of paper, identify the problem that you're working through, draw a line down the middle of the paper, write facts on one side and feelings on the other, and actually write out all of your numbers, all of the facts on the situation, and then how you feel. This exercise alone is going to change your perspective.
I feel like the perspective and like the emotion of like, I don't want to pay over this. It's like, well, why?
Yep.
It's like, is it really going to matter? And I think that when you do that exercise and being like putting down those facts of what we're talking about and you look at it on paper, like you're going to see that shift.
Yeah. And how you want to act on it, whether that's making the offer or not making the offer.
And sometimes the right answer isn't to make the offer.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be. Like whatever it may be, when it gets written out and you see the difference in line A and line B, it becomes very clear. The work isn't hard. It's just what most people won't do consistently.
If you're ready to master your mindset through small, intentional shifts, keep tuning in.
And if you've ever considered how real estate could help evolve your financial future, it's time to have a conversation because you know you are meant for more.
Now prove it.